Hey guys, welcome back to another crochet tutorial, and today we're gonna make a castle crasher. I don't know if you guys have heard of this game. This was way popular back in 2008, and it was an Xbox Live arcade game, XBLA game back in the day. And it's weird to say that now because it almost seems like just yesterday that I was playing this game in college even, so that was so long ago, and my kids play it now, and my youngest son is obsessed with this game. They all play it, but he's the one who loves it the most. So I gave him the Orange Castle Crasher, or the Orange Knight Castle Crasher, for his birthday, and he was so happy. He was ecstatic. So I am going to actually improve my pattern, and first I'm starting with the fingers. These are the thumbs right now for one of the Castle Crashers. I made a whole bunch of these fingers, and as you know from my other videos that this is the way I do them now. So I make, for one hand, let's see, 3 of the fingers and finish them off. And then I make the 4th one, and then I'm gonna crochet right into the other fingers. Let's zoom in. Yeah, so I crochet right into the other fingers, and I'm gonna add a marker here so we know where we're going to end up at the end of that round. So we're going to start here, and then we're going to crochet right into the next finger. So that will be right here. 3 single crochets, since each of these fingers only has 6 stitches. So we're going to do 3 single crochets in this finger. Whoops, just came right out. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to take the next one and we're going to do 3 in this one too. So right here, 1, 2, 3. And then in the next finger, we're going to do 3 single crochets. Starting, let's see, that one here. Whoops, we don't want to do yarn over. There you go. 1, 2, 3. So in this last finger we're going to do 6, 4, whoops, 5, 6, and then we're going to go 3 in the next finger. So we're just going to keep going all the way around until we reach the marker. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then the next finger. 1, 2, 3, and then in the next one we're going to do 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in total we are going to have 24 stitches. So we're just going to move the marker. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew up the gaps in between the fingers. So far, I finished this much of the helmet, and now I'm going to work on the front part of his head, which is this part. It looks a little kind of, it doesn't look straight at this time, but it will look straight when I start making the sides. So what I'm planning to do for this bottom part is to have it just go down just a little bit, because it's supposed to have like a little point at the bottom in the middle here. And so that's why this one looks like this. So I'm going to try to match it, or I could just leave it like this because it's not like you can see the back of the helmet. So this one I just created a triangle, and I will have the pattern down here. And at this time, so once I made this little triangle, I'm trying to kind of like straighten it out so you can kind of see what I'm trying to do. And then I'm going to do that cross piece that's supposed to go in the front. So right now, I'm going to try, let's see. I'm trying to figure out how long I want to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, because I want it to go all the way across. So do I want to go 7? Maybe. Okay, so if I do 7, then I'm gonna do 1 single crochet in each chain, starting in the second chain from the hook. So that's gonna be 6 stitches. So after I do that, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's the 6th one right here. And then I want to do these stitches, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 12 single crochets, and then I'm going to do a chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the second stitch from the hook, or chain, second chain from the hook. So that's 6 single crochets in total. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm just going to keep going. So this is the first look of what it's supposed to look like when it's like this. It's hard to see because it's all flimsy and it's not sewn on, and the shape isn't there yet, but I think it's pretty good right now. It's supposed to kind of look like this, so I think it's okay. So I'm just gonna do, let's see, the 12 single crochets all the way across. Well, actually it's 12 and then plus 6. So there's the 6 single crochets here you did on the chain, and now we're gonna do 18 because there's the extra 6 that you did here in the previous row. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm trying to do. You can see the helmet, so there is kind of like a space, I guess, right here, there, and there, where you can see some green. So I guess I do have to make, this a little bit longer. This part that goes out a little bit more, because right now I have it, I'm trying to shape this side and I'm trying to make it go out that way. Actually, okay, now that I see these pictures, it doesn't actually do that. There's just a circle that kind of like goes there. So I think I'm just gonna do a straight across. All right, I'm gonna redo that. Let me just frog this whole spot right here because I'm not supposed to decrease. So I'm just supposed to just go all the way to the end and not decrease. Okay, so instead of doing the decrease, I'm gonna go 18 single crochets all the way across, and then chain 1, and then single crochet until the end. So that's what, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 stitches. Then chain 1. But you know what? I think at some point one side is going to be the same thickness, but just one row off. That's what it's actually going to look like, one row off. Okay, I think we're approaching the end, maybe, of how thick this is going to be, because we don't want it to be too thick. Alright, let's see. So it doesn't look super uneven, but you can tell that this side is a little bit thicker than this one. Actually, let me turn my light just a little bit so that it's not so white and shiny and you can't really see what's going on. Okay. So this is what it's looking like. It's looking like right now. Let's see. So I'm gonna do it like this, and then the circles will be right here. I think I need to do one more row. One more row. Okay, now you can definitely tell this is a little bit shorter. I could probably just add some yarn right here, just so it doesn't look so uneven, because I do want to keep this thickness, and then I'm going to add yarn because I want it to make equal. So pull yarn through and chain 1, and I just want to add 6 stitches here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there. now it's equal. All right, now I feel better about that. So that's equal right now. Now we just have to work on the middle. So we want to work 6 stitches in from each side. So we're going to add a marker. Let's see, where do we want to add? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the 6th one. So we want to put yarn, insert the yarn through the 7th one. So we want to do chain 1 and then a single crochet in that same stitch that you inserted the yarn through. So that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, because we only had 12 stitches in the middle before we added these sides. So then we're just going to work up the rows until it's about this high. So I only did 6 rows of this, and then after the 6 rows that you did for the top part, we're going to start doing the triangular sections on the top. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12. So let's see, we're going to chain 1 at the end of this, turn. We're going to crochet 4 single crochets. So that's 4, and then we're going to do a decrease. Chain 1, and then we're going to do 5 single crochets. Chain 1, and then we're going to do 3 single crochets. And then a decrease. Chain 1, turn, 4 single crochets. Chain 1, turn, then we're going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. Chain 1, turn, and then we'll do 3 single crochets together. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. And I want to see if this is too long. No, it just fits. So I didn't want to go all the way to the top, but I also didn't want this triangle to be too short. So I'm going to do it this way instead. So on this side, we're going to add yarn. So let's cut this. Make sure there's a tail long enough to hide the ends. Sometimes my tails are a little too long, but it's better to be too long than too short. Okay, then we're going to do that side. Let me get my white yarn. Okay, so let's start on this end. So we want to pull the yarn through, chain 1, crochet, single crochet in the same stitch that you went into, and then we're going to do 3 more single crochets, and then we want to do a decrease. So we're going to do the same exact thing we did on the other side. Chain 1, I'm going to do 5 single crochets, chain 1. I'm going to do 3 single crochets, and then a decrease, chain 1, 4 single crochets, chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets, and then a decrease, chain 1, and crochet 3 together. There you go. Then we're going to cut this, and then we're ready to make the eyes, but I think we're going to wait until we sew this onto the helmet first. Okay, so for the helmet it was a bit tricky because I wanted to match how I decreased here, and when I saw the pictures, I mean, you're supposed to be able to like blend kind of like seamlessly from this part into here without this kind of like, you see that? It doesn't have like a straight line kind of like bent here, but I couldn't do it in a way that this was not here, so I think I'm just gonna live with this. And it tends to kind of like curl, so if you stretch it a little bit, it doesn't do it as much. So what I did was put this on top to check to see if it was okay, and it seemed like it sort of matches the tip and it's not too much of a difference. And you do want some of the red showing on the edges there, or like here in this spot, which is actually what I wanted. Alright, now I have sewn this together and I hid all the ends on the inside, and so now I'm gonna try to figure out what I want to do for the eyes. I don't remember if I showed this in the video already, but I did finish part of the head. I didn't stuff it yet because I want to sew on the hair first before doing that. And I also want to put a face on him because I didn't want just to put this random faceless, hairless one in the helmet. So then I made the hair that's supposed to go on top. As you can see, it's supposed to go in here like this. I only have one hand right now, so it's kind of hard to put it on here, but you guys get the idea that it's supposed to go on top like this, and I'm going to sew it in his hair like that. But I also kind of want to put some like loose hair pieces, crochet some loose hair pieces so it doesn't just look super flat. Okay, so how I'm going to do this is that I'm just going to start adding yarn. So for here, you see how this is the front and this is the back. And I was trying to show earlier, but I didn't have both hands free, that I would just do this, and then the hair would just go to the back like that. It'll look better once I start sewing it on, but I want to insert yarn somewhere around where this front and this side like joins together or connects. So I'm going to add some yarn here, pull the yarn through, and just make a chain. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'll just do 9. Actually, let's do 10. And then we're just going to do a single crochet in each of these chains, starting in the second one from the hook. So that's going to be 9. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So I'm gonna actually, I don't know if I want to finish off yet, but I do kind of want to make pieces of hair so that it kind of looks more wavy than flat. So to try to like make it so it's a little bit more flowy than flat. Okay, so this is where I left off. So I'm pretty much going to go into the stitch right here, into an actual stitch. I'm going to do a slip stitch and then chain 10 actually this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kind of want it to be up here like that, but like to sew it down. So I kind of just want to push it up so this edge right here is on the hairline so that it's not sticking out. So I want to do that. Since I have it positioned this way, I'm going to start sewing this to the edge. Okay, so this video is a little bit chaotic and not my normal style of video because I'm kind of in a rush and I do have to finish this tutorial on Friday. So I went ahead and did the eyes. So this one and this one, they're the same. They're just circles. So I did 6 single crochets in the magic circle, and that's all I did for both eyes. And then I did embroider whites in the eyes. I was going to leave it just black because I think when I see pictures of one of the Castle Crashers or one of the knights with no helmet, it didn't have the dot, but I think the dot makes it look better. And then he just had like the straight mouth. And then for the hair, I just added just a few strands of, well, a few sort of strands. They're not really strands of hair, but things that kind of look like it's a little bit wavy in the front, like he has actual hair, but like yarn hair. I didn't want it to look straight, so now I'm going to close this up just a little bit and then continue it onto the body and stuff it. And I will be right back on the pattern for that. So the pattern for this, it's going to be down here, and I'm going to really try hard to put on my website, but sometimes things pile up, and I'm really slowly trying to put all the patterns on my website. Okay, so I did more on the face. So this is the same as the eyes on, well, actually the helmet, that's what I meant. I did more on the helmet, and the size of the eyes is the same as the one here, where I did 6 single crochets in the magic circle, and the nose is just one straight line and one little line over, and I just kind of doubled up the bottom just so it would be thicker because I'm basing it on this picture that I have. I didn't quite do the eyes the same way, but in some of the pictures the eyes are open like this. And then I did, you know, there's like a gray line here all the way down to where the circles on the sides are. So I did this, like a light gray yarn. I did that, and then I'm going to put circles here. So for the circles on the side of his face, I did 6 single crochets in the magic circle, and then I increased 6 times, and then for the next round I only did like half of the repeats for like 1 single crochet and then an increase, so I just repeated that 3 times instead of 6. So all the patterns are going to be down here and hopefully on my website. And so I'm just going to sew this to the sides like this. So you have to make 2 of them, one for the side and then one for the other side. And then after that the helmet should be done. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, that's the only thing I have left. And then I'm going to continue this onto the body. Okay, so I'm done sewing the sides, as you can see. So now let's get on with making the body. So the hands are done. I stuffed them. They're a little bit large, kind of like a Castle Crasher, or not Castle Crasher, kind of like a sack boy. But I'm okay with that. Only because I just want the hands to be more defined. I think next time when I make the next one, the hands should be a little bit smaller. But I stuffed them, and now I'm just going to sew them together here and then sew the arms onto the sides of the body like this. Now we're going to start to close up the body, and for this round we're just going to work in the back loops. As you can see, I sewed this on top already. I pretty much just like placed it on top of his shoulder. So this one I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it on top this way and kind of just wrap around his arm and just sew it that way. And let's see, let's go underneath his arm. There you go. Now he has his armor on his shoulders. Now we're going to work on the legs. So that's what the legs look like once it's sewn. So far I have this done, and I just have to put the cross and make his shoes. So for the cross, I did chain 3, and then I did single crochets all the way up to row 7. So it's 2 single crochets actually until row 7. And then for these ones, it's just 2 rows. So I did the same thing, except this one's just 2 rows tall. So I did 2 of these because they go on either side to make a cross. And then I'm just going to go ahead and sew that. So I've done one shoe, and I'm going to work on the second one. And I think there's a circle that's right in front, but we're going to work on the second one before we work on the circle that goes in front. And in this one, I just made an oval shape, and then I started working up the side of the shoe and then kind of went in a little bit so that to make this shoe shape right here. And his feet actually fit in here. It's kind of like a tight squeeze here, but it does fit. As you can see, it does come out a little bit. So it looks kind of cute, like a little booty. And then we're just going to put it on this one. And then I'll be back with the next one. Alright, so right now we are going to work on the shoe. So I'm going to show you what I did. I worked on the first shoe just so I could get it the shape that I wanted, and then I wrote down the pattern, and this is actually how I did it. I'm going to have it close because I don't have my glasses right now. Okay, so at first I changed 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I did 4 single crochets starting in the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in the last chain here, I'm going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then now I'm going to work in the back of the chain. So I was this way, and then I just turned it upside down. And then underneath, in the back of the chains, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the last back of the chain, I'm going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. So after that, let's see, what did I do? I did 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I did an increase. I did 4 single crochets, and then I did an increase. 1 increase, and then 1 single crochet, and then another increase, and then 1 single crochet. Okay, so after that, I'm just going to add a marker here so I know where I ended, because this is where I said the row ended. Round. So then in the next round, we're going to start with 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet, and then an increase, and then 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do an increase, 1 single crochet, another increase, and then 1 single crochet. Okay, so after that, we are doing, hold on, what happened here in this pattern? Okay, let's pull this out for a second. And then I'm doing 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're doing an increase. 1, 2. Oh, wait a second. Hold up. What did I do in this pattern? Not an increase. Increase 4 times. Alright. I think I started the round a little weird in my pattern over there, but it is exactly where it's supposed to be. So increase 4 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, and that's the 4th increase. So after doing that, I did 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then increase 4 times again. 1, wait, oops, forgot to increase. So 1 increase, the 2nd increase, 3rd increase, 4th increase, oops, and then 2 single crochets. Okay, so I forgot to label. I'm looking back at my pattern. I forgot to label one more round. I kind of just like skipped it as not a round. No wonder that was so weird. I went around again like it was supposed to be a round, which is supposed to be, but I forgot to label it in my pattern. That's why I got so confused. Okay, so this is where I'm supposed to end increasing, and then now I'm going to work on growing the side of the shoe. So I'm going to put a marker here, and now we're going to just work in the back of the loops. So back loop only, and we should have 28 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and then 28. Alright, so now, as you can see, there's a little line that's forming here, right here, and that's what we want. So now we're going to do one, two, so we're going to do just one row or one round of 28 single crochets. Let me write that down. I forgot to write that down. Okay. Okay, so after this, we want to do five single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, as you can see, we're reaching, this is the front of the shoe. So we're going to decrease 3 times. So 1, decrease. 2nd decrease, and then here's the 3rd decrease. Okay, and then we're going to single crochet in the rest. of the stitches, so that's 17. 1, 2. Alright, so right now we should have 25 stitches. So we're just going to do 2 rounds of 25 stitches, and then we're going to be done the shoe. Well, done this part of the shoe. We still have to do the circle part that goes in the front. And we've got that shape that we want. So now we have both shoes. And we want to make the thing that goes in the front of the shoe. Okay, so I put his shoes on. They almost look like girls' shoes, but when you look at the pictures of their shoes, you see this one, it does have that circle on top, and so that's why I did that. And I do still have to make the shield, but since this tutorial has to be out tomorrow, I might just leave that for another day just to accessorize him and just put this out so the main parts of this Castle Crasher will be done and put out for tomorrow. But yeah, these are the shoes, and this one I just started with 6 single crochets in the magic circle, and then I only increased 3 times and not 6. So I did that and then sewed it right into the front and made sure that it's above this part of the shoe that goes in. And I'm just going to go ahead and sew this, just secure it just a little bit around the edge here. So this is what he looks like so far, and I will end up working on the shield that you see in this picture, and I want to make his weapon too. So this will be done, and so will his shield. This has been Pig Loves Mouse. This is it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And let me know if there are any other video game dolls or any characters you'd like to see here. I am trying to get an Over the Garden Wall doll done, but I haven't started on anything yet since I've been making him. So I will get that done as soon as I can. On Friday, there might not be a tutorial, we'll see. There might be a small one or just an update video on what I'm working on. But yeah, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!